Eala plays Sakatsume in PH Women's Open Round of 16 clash. After surviving her opening round test on Tuesday, Japan's Himino Sakatsume has set up a round of 16 clash with Eala in the WTA 125 Philippine Women's Open. Sakatsume, ranked number 140 by the WE, beat Eala in an Osaka tournament in 2023, 6-0, 6-3, and will be looking to repeat over the Filipina on Wednesday at the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center. Read top seed Maria on Eala. She's improving all the time. Much has changed since then. Eala, now the world's number 49 ranked player, has shown marked improvement and will look to exact revenge on home soil with her adoring fans cheering her on. The Filipina enters the matchup brimming with confidence after a dominant 6-1, 6-2 win over Elena Kariva on Monday night. Sakatsume, from her end, booked the rematch by outlasting fellow Japanese Nao Hibino 6-3, 7-5 on Tuesday night. The Eala-Sakatsume Showdown is slated to be played not before 6 p.m. and will headline Wednesday's center court action. Get more of the latest sports news and updates on spin.ph. Notice on unauthorized and unlawful use, publication, and/or dissemination of spin.ph content. Please be notified that any unauthorized and unlawful use, publication and/or dissemination of spin.ph's content and/or materials is a direct violation of its legal and exclusive rights to the same, and shall be subject to appropriate legal action/s. Full circle on home soil. Eala vs. Sakatsume. A story of dreams, growth, and the pulse of a nation. By the time the warm Manila dusk settled over the historic Rizal Memorial Tennis Center, the Filipino crowd had already been swept up in a moment that seemed almost mythic in its emotional resonance. The court lights blazed against a sky still tinged with sunset, and thousands of voices, a chorus of claps, cheers, and hopes, awaited the next chapter of a burgeoning homegrown legend's journey. Alexandra Eala, the Philippines' brightest tennis star in a generation, was about to take center stage in the round of 16 of the Philippine Women's Open, and she would be facing a familiar, yet formidable rival, Japan's Himino Sakatsume. Roots of a rivalry. What made this matchup more than just another tennis fixture on the WTA calendar was history. Eala and Himino Sakatsume had crossed paths before, most notably in Japan, where Sakatsume had handed the young Filipino a tough defeat in Osaka in 2023, winning convincingly in straight sets. That past loss lingered in the minds of fans and analysts alike, not as a defeat to be forgotten, but as a defining moment, a challenge that pushed Eala to refine her craft, her mindset, and her belief in herself. Facing Sakatsume again in Manila created a narrative tension that mixed redemption with ambition and history with hope. A homecoming like no other. Eala's journey to this point had already been momentous. Earlier in the tournament, her first professional event on home soil, she delivered a commanding performance against Russia's Elena Kariva, securing a straight sets victory that electrified the crowd. More than a win, it was a moment of homecoming. Eala spoke with unmistakable emotion about playing in Manila, a city where she first learned the rhythms of competitive tennis as a child, and where the echoes of crowd support felt deeply personal. This was her stage not just as a top-ranked athlete, WTA number 49 at the time, the highest in Philippine tennis history, but as a daughter of the nation, one who carried generations of dreams within each stroke. The clash, strategy, strength, and nerves. As the round of 16 matchup approached, anticipation buzzed through the stands like electricity. Sakatsume, a seasoned professional with a solid ITF foundation and a ranking inside the world's top 200, was no easy opponent, consistent, confident, and capable of punishing small margins of error. For Eala, this was more than a match. It was a litmus test for her maturity, in technique, in spirit, and in presence. She knew her forehand, often described as her most lethal weapon, would need to dictate play, her left-handed angles would have to open the court, and her footwork, both swift and mindful, would have to neutralize Sakatsume's persistence. But beyond strategy, there was the intangible theater of pressure and expectation. This wasn't just a tiebreak or a set to claim. It was a moment where every rally could reverberate with meaning, a collision between personal evolution and collective longing. The emotional landscape. For many Filipinos, tennis has long been a sport admired from afar. Stories of international runners, boxers, and basketball heroes had often eclipsed the niche world of professional tennis. Yet with Eala, something shifted. She became a bridge. She brought the elite tour into the hearts of everyday fans. She carried the pride of a nation into stadium roars and broadcast highlights. And on this warm Manila evening, as the clock ticked toward match time, the crowd wasn't just waiting for a competition, they were waiting for a chapter in a story larger than sport. Parents brought young children, tennis fans waved flags, and strangers stood shoulder to shoulder, all eager to witness a homegrown talent chase glory. There was a feeling of collective memory and shared future, merging in every heartbeat as the players warmed up. Beyond the scoreline. No matter what the scoreboard would eventually show, this match was already historic. It was a testament to how far Eala had come, from the junior courts of Manila to the bustling arenas of the WTA, and back to the place where her earliest tennis dreams were nurtured. It was proof that sport, at its best, is a storyteller, weaving narratives of struggle, triumph, resilience, and identity. And it was a reminder that when a player steps onto the court wearing the hopes of a nation, every point becomes a pulse, every rally a heartbeat, and every victory a shared spectacle of joy. What this means for the future. For Eala, each match on the stage, and especially this one against Himeno Sakatsume, represents a moment of reflection and growth. If she won, it would mean moving closer to a quarter-final berth in a historic home tournament, a tangible step toward realization of both personal ambition and national pride. If she lost, it would still be a moment of learning, a lesson in resilience and preparation, another point of reflection on the journey ahead. Either way, she had already won something larger, the admiration, support, and lasting belief of fans who see in her not only a champion of today, but an ambassador of tomorrow. Closing reflections. The court as a canvas. In the end, tennis matches are more than lists of winners and losers. They are canvases where effort, emotion, and identity paint stories that linger long after the final point. On that Manila night, under the warm court lights and the gaze of thousands, Eala and Himeno Sakatsume were not just athletes locked in competition, they were characters in a narrative of dreams, perseverance, and shared human spirit. And for every Filipino who cheered, cried, and rallied with each serve and volley, this was more than a match. It was an affirmation that aspiration, rooted deeply in resilience, can echo far beyond the lines of a tennis court. Would you like this transformed into a feature article style, like something for print, a script for a sports documentary, or a first-person narrative from Eala's perspective?